All right, welcome to Cruise Control. My name's Eric, and today we're going to talk about, is Honda lying on how much horsepower the new SI makes? Before we get to that, I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, as I do cover new and used vehicles, plus we do live streams. Now back to that new Honda Civic Si. So this SI, I have talked about it a few times. I love the way it looks. I am not a big fan that we lost 5 horsepower, but did we really? Let's go ahead and pull up some dyno numbers. Now, dynos do vary, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way because this may not be an accurate thing. This is one dyno that I'm pulling from. So, and the type of dyno that it is, I'm not the biggest fan of. This is a Dynapack dyno, which means it reads from the hub. A dyno jet is more my style, but that's fine. Let's just look at baseline numbers and see what Honda's talking about versus this SI versus a previous SI. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a picture here, and this shows us how much horsepower the previous gen put down in stock form versus the new one. And the new one's supposed to make 5 less horsepower, but if we look at this chart right here, pay no attention to the 201 and 222 horsepower. Neither one of them actually make that much power. Again, this is just a Dynapack's reading, and the point of getting this reading is to see where did it lose power. But the thing is the power is above the previous generation, so maybe Honda is just underquoting it now, and I think I know why. The new Integra that's coming out, they need to make sure that that's quoted at a higher power level because that's going to cost more. So of course they're going to say that one's going to have 210, maybe 215, 220. And look at how much horsepower this one makes more than the previous generation. So it actually makes more power. However, it does make less torque. So if I come over here and I pull up where the torque curve is, it's a big fat torque curve, which is nice, right? So you have so much horsepower in the upper rev range, and then you have so much torque throughout the torque curve. However, if you look at peak torque from the previous generation to this one, that has dipped, but it does last longer. So it doesn't look like it falls off of its face like it did before. So you had more torque, but it would fall flat versus this one doesn't have as much torque, but you get to keep it for a lot longer. So that's going to be a lot better for driving around town, going up mountain roads. You're always going to stay in a nice meaty power band. So interesting. Now, if you do want to make more horsepower with this vehicle, this is being tested at Honda. That's where these graphs are coming from. Honda is a company, again, I'm not sponsored by them. They're a company that changes the ECU tuning and it gives you a little bit more PSI. Generally, their first tunes come with about a 6 PSI boost. Anything after that, they generally tell you to upgrade your clutch and things of that nature. So that's generally what's going to happen. And they give you about a 25 horsepower jump and maybe about a 30 foot-pound jump. So right now we're looking at a dyno chart from the previous SI after Honda got a hold of it. And as you can tell, the torque curve really didn't get any broader, but it did get more torque. So they gained about 30 foot-pounds of torque. And then the horsepower, man, it was a nice big jump in horsepower, almost the entire rev range after, I don't know, 2,700 RPM. It just got a lot more horsepower. So I'm expecting something similar to this when the new SI is completely done at Honda. Again, back to the regular dyno chart. This is, again, Honda's stock power levels. And as you can see here, again, the torque is a little bit broader. It's not quite as peaky as what it was with the previous Gen SI, but the horsepower is higher, regardless of what Honda is saying. They said 205 horsepower. Well, if it was 205, then this one's got a couple more. Who knows how much more? I'm excited to see what it looks like on a dyno jet dyno as well. But this is the first implication that Honda's actually lying to us, but in a good way, don't get me wrong. I have some bad news on that though too. So let's get back into the Honda Civic Si. So it has more power, but it goes slow. Does that make sense? Not really. So 0 to 60, this is from Motortrend. So if you guys want to go look at that article, I will have it in the link down below. So Motortrend tested it out saying it gets 0 to 60 in 7.1. That is not very fast. Quarter mile in 15.3, also not very fast. Now, is it an early model? Is it really broken in? Is there a 6.5 in there? Maybe, right? So maybe after the engine's broken in, 1,000, 1,500 miles, it might get down to about 6.5 seconds. So it might equal around the same as before. You do need third gear to get to 60 miles an hour. It's not going to get there in second. But let's talk about some of the differences between this SI and the previous SI. Well, this SI is 59% weight bias in the front, so it's under 60. The other one was 61%, so that's a pretty good front bias for a front-wheel drive car to only be in the 59 category. The flywheel has been reduced to a single mass flywheel, 27% lighter. They added the Type R's automatic rev matching. It's got a more rigid bracket for the shifter and 10% shorter throws. It actually has some parts from the Type R. They borrowed the front and rear compliance bushings. It has a Bose sound system, so you got a nice little sound system. It's got beautiful 18-inch wheels. I love these black wheels with big 235/40 18-inch tires. The overall car is 184 inches long, 70.9 inches wide, and 55.5 inches tall. And the wheelbase has been stretched to 107.7. So this is going to ride really well. And in my opinion, it is the best looking SI that's ever been made. The price, I still struggle with, $28,315, including destination. That's just a little steep for me as far as the SI. However, because it does have a better shifter and it does have a little bit of things here and there that are better. I like the interior, I like the exterior, I just don't really like the power. I'd have to spend, if I bought this, I'd have to spend the $700 when Honda comes out with their new ECU tune. I would 100% at least get that, so that way the performance will match its looks. But it does look like a little bit that Honda's lying to us about the power. It might make a little bit more than they're saying, and it might actually make more than last year's model. They're just not advertising it. Wonder why? My name's Eric. This is Cruise Control. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. We're going to have some really fun content coming out. I don't want you to miss anything. Have a good one.